I'd be glad to. All right, Mr. Boyko.
All right, Associated Press, please lead it off with questions. What's this all mean to you? Just to reach this decision and to know that it's going to reach a finality on Sunday.
I don't know. It's surreal. I don't think any feelings have really hit bottom yet. It was something that I would have preferred to leave out the back door, much like I came in. Been very quiet and came in and out, but luckily we've got some good people here that convinced me that this needed to be out. People needed to know. So it'll be a fun experience. I'm excited about it. Obviously, I don't know that a place has ever meant more to anybody. So I'm excited for the weekend.
This is also about 13 years of pushing yourself as any player does through the whole experience. It's not just the football season, right? Off season, camp, the whole works. You've done this, and then finally have to ask yourself, I'm sure at the end of every year, do I want to do it again? How did that factor into your thinking at this point?
Well, honestly, a couple of things. I watched way too many T-ball and soccer games over FaceTime this spring, more so than ever. And I think at the end of the day, it came down to the things that I say are most important to me. Are they really the most important things, or do I just say that because that's what everybody else says? So told everybody that's asked me about it at this point, I don't know that there's ever a good time, whether it's now or whether it's 2 years from now. It's going to hurt walking away. There's going to be a void in my life because of how much this game, obviously this organization and what team has meant to me in general. So those are all things that I'm going to have to process and work through. It's never easy.
Other than playing a playoff game at the end of the year, how special is it that you get to play your last game at home?
That was an important part of it. I love the fact that Sunday I'll know. You know what I mean? I'll know. I can go out there. I can enjoy it for what it is. An opportunity to go back out, play in front of what myself and a lot of other people regard as the best fans in the league. And an opportunity to compete and be with my team and, hopefully go out and get a win. And it's the most important things to me, so I'm excited about that.
Kyle, when you reflect back to 2006 and the so-called too short, too small, arms were too short and whatever. When you reflect back and now to this point, what have you proven maybe to yourself or to the people that doubted you so long ago?
I think the hardest thing for me is going to be moving away from something that I love so much and walking away from something that they said that I couldn't do. You know what I mean? Something that's, like I said, is a big piece of me. Competition, this game. As far as what it means, it's for me as a player, the only thing that I ever wanted to accomplish was I wanted an opportunity to compete and be the best that I could. And moving forward, the only thing that I hope is whether it's present-day teams, past teams, or future teams, that our fans, our organization, our people would say that who a good guy to have on this team would be Kyle. That's really, if that's the case on any of those points, I can rest easy.
Kyle, we know you've told Sean on Monday, but can you take us through the timeline for you to make this decision?
Well, obviously, you when it creeps into your mind and you think about it and you give way to those thoughts in your quiet times and when you're by yourself, it's a real thing. And for me, like I said, this spring when I'm up here, I'm in training camp and I'm watching my kids play T-ball and all these activities. I'm doing it on FaceTime because I'm away. I was telling somebody earlier that my daughter's moving into, I have kids in middle school. My daughter's moving in to be 12 years old, and I've been in training camp for a year of her life, and that's just training camp, right? So I think this spring it hit me really heavy, but at the same time, I totally committed myself to being the best teammate, the best player, to trying to make the Buffalo Bills the best team I could this year. And when I get back into it, I love it so much. I love team. I love competing, and at the end of the day, it comes down to it. Like I said earlier, what are the most important things? What do you want to do? And I wish I could be 22 years old and start all over again, but that's just it's just not how the cookie crumbles, so to speak.
Kyle, so many head coaches, GMs, position coaches, even two owners. How have you been able to survive amidst all the change here over 13 years?
Well, a couple of things on that front. Obviously, that's we've had limited success. So we had a lot of people in and out of here. The positive of that is I got to build so many great relationships with lots of people all across this country and all across the league. As far as myself, I think the main thing is I never cheated anybody a day. Whether it's our fans, our owners, my teammates, I literally gave all I had every day. Whether it's practice, games, no matter what, I gave it literally all that I could. And like I said, I'm comfortable knowing that, and moving forward here.
Kyle, when you think back to a year ago in Miami, celebrate a playoff berth, your first and only one with your children there at your side. How special was that moment?
It was awesome. Those boys, they had a great time. To be able to play on the field with them and enjoy that moment with them in the locker room. I'm hopeful that they'll remember that. They were pretty young. I hope they'll remember that forever because their dad won't forget. So that was such an awesome moment, and I think it was just kind of meant to be. You don't go on the road to an away game and be allowed to take children or people out of the stands onto the field with you. But as luck would have it, a security guard allowed me to do it. So I think it was just something that was meant to be. And like I said, there's photos and video and lots of things that commit that to memory that my family, is going to hold tight to and near and dear for a long, long time.
And would your career have been complete without that playoff berth?
Luckily, I don't have to think about that. Obviously, that moment in that locker room, you talk to anybody that was there. We have guys that have been on great teams, on Super Bowl teams, on national championship teams, myself included. And this spring we did a poll of what has been your favorite football moment. And to a man, anybody that was in that room, it was that moment. It was that few minutes there with that team, and it was a blessing to be there. It was a lot of fun. I only wish one of my daughters could have been there because I catch all kinds of flack for that. They got left out of the locker room.
Kyle, I know this will be your last game here with the Bills, but you're your first alternate for the Pro Bowl. There have been a couple of injuries at the position in the AFC. Would you play in the Pro Bowl if asked to fill in?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the opportunity to go represent the organization one more time, I'd definitely jump at that.
Obviously, being with your family for a little while, what's next as far as any goals you have, things you'd like to do, maybe even staying in football, any coaching, broadcasting, anything like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out there. A lot of things have been thrown at me, really over the course of the last couple of years because of speculation of this day that was coming. So there's a lot of things out there, a lot of things to process, a lot of things that I, in the short term want to accomplish, and we'll kind of see what the future holds. Obviously, we've talked to Sean, we've talked to a lot of different people about some different things I may or may not be able to do, but that's all kind of on hold for the moment. We're going to go out and try to win on Sunday, and then we'll kind of work through that as we go forward.
Kyle, any part of this decision challenging, admitting that you could still keep playing? Sean said you could still keep playing, and understanding the level you are currently playing at.
So I think one of my biggest fears has always been if I came back just to come back and play a year, and if I weren't able to hold up my end of the bargain, I've set a standard for myself, the way that I want to compete, how productive I want to be, and if I were out there dragging a leg around and not productive, and obviously being an anchor to our team, I don't know that emotionally and in my mind I could handle that. Obviously, feeling healthy, feeling good, still able to play at a high level is maybe a cherry on top. And with clarity and all those things going on, it's a good feeling knowing that I didn't let myself slip or I didn't let my teammates down as I kind of walk away.
What did your wife and kids say when you told them of your decision?
There's been a lot of tears at my house over the last over the last few weeks between my wife and I. And then we told our kids on Christmas, and, my boys are young. They love football. They love, more than anything, they associate football with coming in this indoor and playing, so they're a little bummed out about that. My oldest daughter's a little bit like me. She's going to kind of stuff the information, then eventually it's going to come out of her. And my second oldest daughter had a screaming fit for 2 hours at my house on Christmas. So Sean jokes around that I ruined his Christmas Eve. I said, well, you should have been at our house Christmas Day. So obviously, we came here 22 years old, freshly married, no kids, and we walk away on the doorstep of 36 with 5. So our family's grown up here. Our kids, this is all they know. And this is all we know. We both have never lived outside of Louisiana. So we've lived in Louisiana and in Buffalo. So that's something to be proud of.
What made you want to stay in Buffalo all years, opportunities to leave or anything like that?
So the city here, if you commit yourself to it, if you commit yourself to the community, there's such a different vibe. There's such a different feeling. We've had guys coming in and out of this organization, obviously tons for my years here, and guys that you would identify that have been in what you would call the best organizations in the NFL. These guys either didn't want to come here because of what they had heard, or maybe people make a funny face when you see Buffalo. They didn't want to get drafted here. They didn't want to come in free agency. They had no other choice, whatever the things may be. But when it was time for leave, nobody wanted to leave. So there's something about it that gets inside of you, and it takes hold if you commit yourself to it, and if you let if you let it in. So obviously our fans, the people, so many relationships, and really the last couple of the years, Brandon Bean, our team, a lot of people around them, and more notably Sean McDermott.
Kyle, you're like Mr. Miyagi to Harrison's Karate Kid.
I didn't respond to your text this morning yet. I'm sorry. I will.
It's all good. Talk a little bit about his progression.
Who?
Harrison.
I don't know him. The only thing I know for sure is Harry's not allowed to wear 95 next year. It's got to have at least a year off, and then I think I reserve the right to sell it to Harrison when the time is right. During the season, it's so hard to properly, kind of bring somebody along. You do your best. You're trying to prepare. You're trying to do the right things. I'm excited for him. I think he's going to be a great player because more than anything else, he cares. He wants to be good. He prepares because he wants to play well. And sadly enough, that's not always the case in this league. But guys that have grit and are tough and want to be good, those guys got a chance. And I can't wait to watch him play. I'm excited for him.
Kyle, what can you tell fans about where you think this organization is headed in 2019 and beyond?
So that's the hard thing for me, right, is you get Brandon and you get Sean in here, and you've been through ups and downs, staffs, different people that have come in and out, and you get an opportunity to kind of pull the curtain back and sit with two guys that are transparent with you and share their vision with you. And I've never had a checklist of things that I wanted the coach or the GM to say to make me come back and continue to play. But when they share a vision and it literally clicks with everything that you want, the kind of teammates that you want, the kind of organization you want to be a part of, that is what makes it tough moving away, because I feel like the direction we're moving, the young guys that we have, you mentioned Harrison earlier, you got Taryn and Robert and Tremaine, and I mean there's so many great young players that we have, and Josh, and you want to hold on, but like I said, it's never going to be easy, whether it's this year or next year or the one after that. Just know that I'm always going to be a Buffalo Bill, and the main thing for those guys is they've got all of my support.
Hey, Kyle, thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Hey, I want to thank you guys, too. You guys have always treated me very fairly, and hopefully I represented myself, this organization, the Pagula family, and my family in the right way, and treated you guys with respect. So I appreciate what you do, and thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys.